Thanks for stopping by. I did not know that Classic TV edition. Please like and subscribe.
I'll think about it.
That's all I ask.
We watched the Dick Van Dyke Show every week in our house, as did a lot of America during its original run back in the 1960s. As a kid, one of my favorite parts of the show was watching him trip over that ottoman during the show's opening. I'll never forget how shocking it was when one week, instead of tripping over it, he simply sidestepped it and walked around it. It was totally unexpected. I'm sure all across the country, people were shouting, "Did you see that? He didn't trip over the ottoman this week." It might seem unremarkable in today's world, but back then there were only 3 networks to watch. So this was the kind of thing people talked about at school or work. From that point on, you were never quite sure if he was going to trip or walk around that ottoman. I've done a couple of my episodes about the Dick Van Dyke Show, and after coming across a discussion about the ottoman trip on a Dick Van Dyke Facebook page, I thought others might like to hear how this all came about. I'll post a link to their page below if you're a fan of the show.
The Dick Van Dyke Show.
The first season of the show, the opening showed photos of the cast. In 1966, Mission Impossible first aired, and it always made me wonder if that's where they got the idea to use a photo introduction. But by the second season, Carl Reiner, who created the show, wanted to do something different. Let's listen to this clip of John Rich, a director on the show.
And he was tired of that. Carl was. He said, "We need a little cleverer opening."
So Reiner suggested that Dick come in through the front door and fall.
I said, "Dick, trip over the stool." And Dick comes in, he says, "Hello, everybody." He walks over, falls down. They all cluster around and pick him up.
Then Reiner came up with the idea of shooting it again where he doesn't fall over the ottoman. And that way, they can pop in the variation during the season for a little surprise, and no one will know which one is coming.
Carl said, "Let's do a variation." He's very clever, you know. He said, "Let's do one where he misses the stool. Then we'll change it week by week." I said, "Very clever."
He said the whole thing was done in 4 minutes with only 2 takes and soon became the signature of the show.
That was the genius of Carl Reiner.
Yeah.
That he would give them that variation. That it was not just a guy tripping, but sometimes he missed it, you know.
They would never know which one they were going to see.
Very clever.
Both of these shots were filmed right after getting done filming episode 32, The Two Faces of Rob. I've read that after the surprise of Rob not tripping over the ottoman, people would even lay down bets week to week on whether he'd trip or walk around it. Now, oddly enough, there is actually a third version of this, but that one is not shown as much as the other 2. In the 3rd season, they filmed another opening where Rob comes in the front door, misses the ottoman, but then trips after he gets past it. It's easy to spot this one because in this later version, they aren't wearing the same clothes as they did in the other openings. I've read that the 3rd version was shot during the filming of the episode called The Masterpiece. You can see here that Mary Tyler Moore is wearing the same dress. One side note is that the always wacky Howard Morris did an appearance in this episode. Morris is best known as the wild hillbilly Ernest T. Bass on The Andy Griffith Show. In 2002, the city of Minneapolis put up a statue to honor Mary Tyler Moore and her character Mary Richards. Richards was the character Moore played on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, and she worked at a fictional Minneapolis TV station called WJM-TV. In 1986, it was proposed that the city of New Rochelle honor the Dick Van Dyke Show and their most famous couple, the Petrys. The proposal was that a marble ottoman be made to represent the show and that it be placed in the city. The theme song for the show would be playing above it continuously. Well, that failed to happen. So instead, New Rochelle made Van Dyke and Moore honorary citizens. Evidently, the city wasn't tripping over itself to build the Ottoman monument. But in 2018, signs reading Dick Van Dyke Show Way were attached to existing signage on Bonnie Meadow Road, the street where the fictional Petrys and in reality Carl Reiner lived. So which opening did you prefer? The Ottoman trip, the sidestep, or the trip over his own feet? And should the city have honored the Dick Van Dyke Show with a marble ottoman with the show's theme song playing above it? Or was that just a bit too tacky? Hey, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you enjoyed this little piece of classic TV trivia.
I never
Do any of that.
Now I know everything there is to know.